Okay, but hear me out. Wouldn't it be crazy if men were meant to submit to women and women were meant to protect and provide, which is why we're so good at it, but the patriarchy's convinced us that we need men to do that so they feel needed and we feel powerless? Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay.
I mean, but what else? What would that entail? What would that look like? I think a lot of times modern women just get on here and they just talk about what would be and the fantasy that they might be living in at the time of their crossing over into the land of delusion. But there are laws and things in place that need to happen in order for your takeover to commence and to be completed. What would those things be? What would it look like? Oh, wait, you probably don't have a plan for that, nor strategy, nor can you enforce it. Interesting.
I just had 5 grown men walk by, grown, able-bodied men walk by as I struggle to like carry all of my shit and help this poor mother with 3 children carry her stroller down the stairs. They just looked and kept walking. I'm literally like dropping my umbrella and everything. They just keep on walking.
Women now videoing themselves, right? And saying, oh, all of these guys didn't help this woman, but I did. And I'm like, all these able-bodied men, they're just not even, not even helping, and they don't even want anything. And I had to stop and well, yes, honey, because for years they did help. I don't know how many times we have to say it, but for years and years and years, guys did all of those things. And then one day, feminism got plunged into all of your tiny little brains, women, and you decided that you didn't want guys to do anything for you anymore.
Wouldn't that also explain perhaps men's hesitance to commit to women, because women are much more likely to be the ones to initiate the breakup or initiate the divorce?
So men are scared of us?
They're not scared. I don't think it's scared.
No, I mean, they're terrified of you, right? It's not scared, terrified.
Okay.
But not because of you. They're terrified of the situations which happen around women that lead to really terrible outcomes for a lot of men. That's what they're terrified of.
Okay. I could see that.
So you are dating the worst parts of yourself.
Yep. But
once you begin to heal and address the things that's wrong with you, you will start to be a better picker. But you choose it wrong because you're dating from the point of your trauma. You're not dating from the point of your healing.
Because even though I dated wrong, navigated in those spaces, I was in toxic situations, you heal from that.
Pain ain't the only way to learn. You better tell God, like, I don't want to learn through pain anymore.
I agree with you, but
it's not the only way to learn. And if you keep bouncing from man to man, letting them hurt you, and they leaving residual damage, by the time you find the right man, you gonna be the wrong woman.
Seriously need to stop expecting young men to be gentle and chivalrous with women and their emotions if we're not going to at least admit that the reason for that is because women are extra emotional. Treat me different because I'm a girl, but don't acknowledge that as a girl I'm different is insane standard. And so
the list of double standards are racking up, bro. It doesn't make sense how in 2025 this is a hot take. Saying women are more emotional than men is actually really a hot take. A lot of the online women nowadays will pick and choose when they want to be treated equally, rather than being treated equally with everything. There's so many double standards, it's insane. That's why I tell young men all the time, don't take it serious, don't take it to heart. Be a man, do what you gotta do. Could you imagine if everybody in the world was just like, you know what? Forget chivalry, forget changing up when a woman walks in the room. We're gonna act exactly how we always act, regardless of the female in the room. Like if we just treated and talked to women 100% like we talk to the bros, I don't even want to think about it, honestly. It's exactly what he said. You can't say treat me different as a girl, but don't acknowledge that I'm different because I am a girl. It makes no sense.
Can we stop villainizing men? Because, like, it's kind of it up for all of us. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we're constantly telling guys, like, you're so toxic. I hate you. You know? But, like, I kind of like men, and I kind of want like a good one to marry me, and if all of the men in the world feel like we hate them, I don't think that's gonna happen, you know what I mean? So I just feel like we need to be nicer to the guys. Just a thought.
Men are actually men are super simple, women are very complicated. Men, as long as we feel appreciated, we feel noticed, and we feel special, and we see our role and our purpose, we will go to the ends of the earth to feed our family. We'll figure it out. And I think we're underselling American men. We say, oh, you know, I wait until I'm 27 or 28. That's fine, but look at the cost of that. And the cost is, right now, just as we're clear, we are on pace 10 years out from now, we're going to have 20 million 40-something women that never got married or have kids, but they have big apartments and they go on lots of vacations. And I also think that's one of the reasons we're seeing the suicide rate, the anxiety problems, the depression problems in our country. Do you have a thought? Or
yeah, I just feel like how many people that are like, or how many males are that are 20 are like ready to get married and like ready to
great
have a
question.
family?
So the question is, which one leads which? Men, yes, but in the 1950s or 1960s, the time we're supposed to hate, young ladies looked at it was my task to find a husband before the age of 25. And it was like the most important thing for them. Now that came with a lot of costs. Some people would say that it was handcuffs and, you know, being in prison.
When I hear most women say they want a provider, it just sounds like you just want a nigga to pay your bills.
Well, that's just being a user.
Okay.
I feel like every woman should still have her own.
Okay.
Like you should still have like your own, whether you're an entrepreneur. Like, show them that you have your own brand. That don't necessarily mean like a brand with, you know, makeup or clothing, but have your own thing going for yourself. Don't be, you know, just thinking you're going to be laying in a hammock being fed grapes.
Okay.
You know, bring something to the table in the sense of you being the table, the woman is the table, but you should still bring something in the equation so he can feel like you're not just there to use him. Like, I don't rock with that.
Women are the reason for 60% of divorces, and honestly, I believe it.
It's very true. Most divorces are, in fact, initiated by women.
Because men will ignore you for years and then act confused when you finally leave. Like, don't play dumb. She didn't wake up and decide she was done. She told you 1,000 times what was wrong, and you brush it off every single time.
Now, I understand that this post is supposed to be about how men are the problem in marriages, but a lot of individuals like to conveniently leave out the fact, and yes, it is a fact, that women married to women actually have the highest divorce rates of all. So is it really men that are the problem?
One thing about women, we'll stay until the very last straw. We'll explain it, we'll cry about it, we'll try to fix it, and you still sit there acting clueless.
Well, if that was actually true, then women married to women would actually have the longest lasting relationships, wouldn't they?
When she finally files, suddenly, it's, where did it come from? It came from you not listening. That's why most women file for divorces.
Okay, sure. But in my opinion, a lot of women, not all, file for divorce because they simply aren't happy. And there's a lot of women that would rather just get divorced than work on the problem.
What common mistakes do you think some women make when it comes to relationships?
I think the biggest mistake, and I know I'm guilty of this as well, is we don't communicate our needs and we expect them to predict it. So what I mean by this is, say, for example, we want to see somebody more often. We will say, I'm not going to ask him, I'm not going to say it because he should just know. If he wanted to, he would. But the reality is, when we don't communicate our needs, we teach people the wrong way to love us. If you're late every time you pick me up and I don't say anything in that process because I don't want to look needy or I don't want to look clingy or anything like that, I'm teaching you it's okay to do that.
This simp culture that got women acting the way they act. So even though we get on the women, you know, we make them take their accountability, we got to make men take accountability too. Because I see it. I see the homegirls DM. They showing me niggas they never met.
And they're going crazy.
Never met. I'm talking about Cash App. Here go 500, beautiful. Go get your nails and hairs done. Never met this woman. Hey, daddy, I broke my phone.
Yeah.
$1,000. Go get a new one. I'm reading the DM. Hey, I'm ready to fly you out, take you shot. Knowing he's not finna either. Like they doing this. Someone is online talking the way they talk. Believe it. It's a simp out there validating what they're saying and really giving these money. So a regular guy don't stand a chance. This is in Timbuktu, Cash Apping her $1,500 for nothing. Just for the conversation.
And, you know, I'm not against holding the Sims accountable. I'm not against that. I definitely agree with him. I agree. But what these modern women aren't doing, what the issue that they're running into is they're not distinguishing a simp from a real man. They're not saying, okay, this is fun stuff. They're talking about, I have men that will do this, and this for me. Right. But it doesn't really matter because these guys are not trying to marry you. Well, I got these guys trying to, but you, okay, do you want to marry them? Then we shouldn't even hear from you if he want to marry you and you want to marry him. Do you want to marry him? No. Okay, then what are you talking about? You don't even want that guy. So he's not even an option. You don't have the options that you want. This is not a guy that you want. This is not a guy that you respect. We're trying to teach you. We're trying to tell you this is how, the guy that you want, the guy that you're going to respect. This is how you get him. And you keep on messing yourself up because, oh, well, a simp will give this to me. A simp would pay for this. You're not looking for you don't like the simp. And the guy that you actually want, the ultimate guy, he's not going to give you any of that because he knows he doesn't have to. So what you need to look for is a man with integrity, a man with good character, good behavior. That's what you need to be looking for. A man that's going to say, hey, I might not be able to get that right now, but we can work towards it. So you can respect him. And then he's good looking enough. Oh, I really like this guy. And y'all start building something together. You're not distinguishing correctly.
Of course having a boyfriend is embarrassing. Are you kidding me? Now more than ever, we have more female CEOs. We have more female homeowners. Women are absolutely dominating in every single form in society, whereas men continue to decline. The men are getting uglier. The women are getting more beautiful. The men are getting dumber. The women are getting smarter. Women are pursuing the arts, their dreams, their goals. Men have none. It seems like the vast majority of all men are bums and losers, and the ones that do make money are narcissistic and evil as shit. There is absolutely no benefit in being with a man. Stick with me. For generations, the one benefit of being with a man was financial. Now that is going away. That is a rare benefit to even find in a man and a romantic partner. These men don't want to help you. And let's say you do actually bag a man who has money. Going back to my previous statement, the ones that do have money are narcissistic and evil. So that man is forever going to hold his finances over your head. If a man can feed you, he can starve you. And that's what they're doing. So going after a man for financial gain and for stability in today's society, is a moot point. It's no longer something that we can really seek out. Some may say that the benefit of being with a man is companionship. I don't know if y'all ever had a dog before, but that's a whole lot better. Having friends, roommates, that's a whole lot better than having a man in your life depleting all of your assets and beauty and youth and life from you. Therefore, having a boyfriend, having a man next to you is like showing the world, I choose to have a leech in my life. I choose to have this person who's draining me, who is not benefiting me at all. And in fact, I would probably be a lot farther in my life if I didn't have him next to me. And it's being proud of that. It's being proud of a leech standing right next to you, who's probably uglier than you. So yeah, dude, having a boyfriend is embarrassing as and it always has been, but it's a lot more embarrassing nowadays than it has ever been. Stay single.
Wrong messenger, gang. You with us. I don't know whose team you thought you was on. You with us, gang. You with us. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This girl said, I don't need a man. She said, have you ever tried a dog? Have you ever tried a dog? They're way better companion than these men are. and they're not going to deplete you of your resources and your beauty. They won't deplete you of your resources and your beauty. You know, if I didn't know any better, I would have said that life has already done a pretty good job of that. You have a blessed day, ma'am.
I've never met one genuinely good man.
Never. Okay. I can't be the only one that finds that statement a little more than difficult to believe.
Every single man I have encountered has done something absolutely horrific and minimized it.
Okay. Such as?
Every single man that I've encountered is a liar, is a perv, and does not see women as humans.
That last part. Yeah. Here's where I'm going to call it for what it is. Things that never happened. 4300, Alex. Because most men do know that women are fellow human beings, and I would go so far as to say that most men, especially in the Western world, do see women as equals. So I think there's something else behind this. But yet, has anyone else noticed they haven't actually defined what would constitute a good man?
There's no such thing as a good man.
I really feel sorry for individuals that think like this because they are quite obviously stuck in what is known as a confirmation bias, where they tend to favor the information that supports their existing beliefs. In this case, that there are no good men.
And if you think you're a good man, please explain why. I'd love to hear it.
And what good would that do? Because I have a feeling no matter how logical or rational the explanation, in my experience, when someone is very firmly attached to their own opinions, it is almost impossible to convince them that they may be wrong.
Because I guarantee you, probably 99.99% guarantee, your explanation is going to show that you are not a good man.
See what I mean?
Men, some of you are still asking women what they can bring to the table. A woman can make another you and bring that to the table. If you're frustrated, I get it, but you are naturally hardwired to protect and provide, and that's a great thing. If you are trying to meet a wonderful woman and you're frustrated, there's good news. There's really only one thing you need to do. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Kristen, and I help people just like you who've been hit by various adversities, and I help you level up using science and strategy. When a woman sees you embodying protection and provision, it signals that you're serious about your natural role in her life, taking initiatives. So you don't wait for her to text. You don't do the tired, good morning, beautiful messages. Instead, you're authentic and real in your communication. You also plan experiences that take care of everything from start to finish. You don't ask what she wants to do. Instead, you surprise her with thoughtfully curated dates where you handle every detail: transportation, reservations, activities. That makes her feel valued and taken care of and eliminates all burdens for her. Women are already thriving, but you are needed. Your reliability, your strength, your empathy, those are qualities that make us feel safe and valued. And I can't tell you how much, men, we need you. So just show us you're serious. Thank me later.
Okay, genuine question for those that say that women should go 50-50 in a relationship with a man because it's the 21st century and we're equals now.
Okay. What's the question?
Do you think that women fought for the right to have our own money, have our own bank accounts, have our own property, just to turn around and give that to a man?
It really sounds like someone is just a tad bit confused on what actually equality really entails.
To the same people that were fighting us on it, that were like, no, you're not equal. Oh man, I wish you could have a bank account, but you're just not equal.
Wait till they find out that men, some of them at least, actually fought alongside women in their struggle for equality. But then again, that would ruin their narrative.
And then we fought them so hard that they were like, okay, fine, but we get half.
Do you think that someone realizes that splitting the finances 50-50 actually means that the money goes to the bills and expenses? Yeah, probably not.
Do you have a brain hemorrhage? Hey, do you have a tumor?
No, but I can imagine someone that might.
That might be happening with you because your words aren't making any sense.
Well, not everyone has the greatest comprehension skills.
What happened? Seriously?
You need us to tell you? Okay then, well, since you asked, I can answer it with one word. Feminism. Yep, that's right. Feminism is what happened. The feminism that told men to sit down, shut up, and leave women alone. Which is exactly what those men in your video are doing. And now you're mad about it. Now you're putting those men on blast for doing exactly what you told them they needed to be doing. Is there a better example of the double standards and hypocrisy of today's women? Do you need any more proof that when it comes to women and their expectations, men are damned if they do and damned if they don't? Thanks, but no thanks, ladies. Men are done playing this little game. They're done with women, and they're done with the toxic mindset that today's women have. And the best part is yet to come, because not only did feminist chivalry, it's now led to a new era, the soft guy era. So now, not only are men not going to give up their seats, they're going to set a new standard that you give up your seat for them, as they should. Isn't equality grand?
So this woman, I was just listening to her. I think her TikTok was the higher gear. And she was saying some of you are still out here asking what women bring to the table. And she detailed some stuff that men could do. Plan the date, have it thoughtfully curated and da-da-da-da from start to finish. You'll thank me later. Actually, no, I'm not going to thank you. I'm not going to thank you now. I'm not going to thank you later because I'm not doing pretty much anything that you say, specifically just because you said it. Now I understand where you're coming from, but it's almost like you guys think that men are your butlers, and that's not the case. Modern women need to find somewhere to sit down. Sit down. And I mean it. I mean it. Get off the mic. Stop talking. Nobody wants to hear you anymore. Not at all. Y'all are sitting up here. Well, whatever. I can literally. It's just, I'm not calling you stupid, but some of the stuff that you say, some of the ways that you think is stupid. What I bring to the table, I can literally make another you. You can make another me with me. You need me to make another me. You need me, stupid, to make another me. What are you talking about right now? Well, I can just go to a clinic. Go to a clinic and do what? Do what? Get the fluid and the biology of a what? Of a man to make another what? Man or woman. Be quiet, man. Y'all don't even think before y'all speak. Shut up.
You know what breaks me so much? Dating, marriages, relationships are slowly, and it breaks my heart because we all are looking for an 80s or 90s love. But I started realizing that's not what we're going to get. We live in a society where situationships, friends with benefits, and I'm not looking for anything serious but just fun, is more common than, hey, I could see myself with you. I would like to continue to date you, and I would like to potentially talk to your parents and marry you. You don't get normal coffee dates without them whipping their out. You don't get normal conversations without them asking you to send these pictures that you have to take off your clothes. It's ridiculous. Dating is slowly. People are not opening car doors anymore. People are not asking you out to dinner. People are not taking the time to get to know you. The only thing they want to get to know is what's under your clothes and what's under your jeans. And they don't even want to work for it, even if they're trying to sleep with you. They just want to make it easy. I just want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, 2024, we're all screwed. I'm telling you, we're all screwed. And I hope you find a true one, because it's rare, because we are living in a cesspool of dating, and it's so hard to find that one person that's in clean waters right now. It's sad, and I'm sorry to tell you, but it's very true.
Women do stupid. They hurt us. I'll give you guys an example. Will Smith, legendary actor, sitting at a red table with his wife. And guess what happens? She goes ahead and says some stupid. Oh, I had an entanglement. And in that instant, bam, career gone. Nobody remembers iRobot. Nobody remembers I Am Legend. Nobody remembers Men in Black. Nobody remembers Independence Day. Nobody remembers Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Nothing. All I remember seeing was Will Smith sitting at a table with red eyes on the verge of tears from his woman embarrassing him on TV. And he still hasn't recovered. Then he had the slap with Chris Rock. I give you guys that example to show you a man with a background like Will Smith, who is literally a legend in music and entertainment and acting in movies and TV shows. But his legacy has been tarnished because what? A stupid that wanted to be a whore. Right? That's facts. Bro went from I Am Legend to I Am Simp. Like, what's going on here? If a woman like that could destroy Will Smith's legacy, what the you think is going to happen to you guys? Will Smith can't even save himself from these whores.
These hoes always talking about some bring back the traditional men, but can't even afford traditional buffalo wings, bone in. Get the out of here, ho. Y'all always talk about what men used to do. I remember when men used to go to war. I remember when men used to work. I remember when, yeah, okay. You don't remember when women didn't used to have rights? You remember when women used to shut their up? You remember when they used to go upside their head and that was the end of the argument? You remember when y'all couldn't divorce? Oh, yeah. So if you want a traditional man, how about you give up your rights? Be a traditional woman. You know what I'm saying? Let's both get this tradition jumping in. You know, if y'all want to step back in the day, then we both need to go back in the day. But y'all don't get to be these modern hoes while we stay traditional. You know what I'm saying? It's not going down like that. You hoes always looking for a loophole, always looking for leverage. And you hoes fought for rights and y'all still don't want to do. Y'all equal to us, but y'all still want more. Sound like y'all was voting and fighting for perks and you know, advantages, you know, privilege. You hoes didn't really want no rights, but y'all want some traditional men out of here, bro.
Why are men in their 50s only want young women? Because they're going through their midlife crisis, darling. When a man hits 50, they think they got one foot in the grave. And when they go get a young woman, they're trying to still keep their youth. So instead of going gently into that good night, they go get them a young woman to make them feel young again. Because they know they got that one foot in the grave. Like they're half of 100. Stop.
This is not to disrespect anyone. I'm only telling you what men think when you guys are online tearing men down. We seriously want to know, do you know what you look like? I'm talking about, do women really know when they're unattractive? Because when some of you talk down on men, we say to ourselves, look at her face. We say, and she had nerve to jump in front of a camera looking like that and then talk negative about someone. Do you women really know when you're too unattractive to be online shooting shots at someone? Do we need to start telling you guys when you're too unattractive to be online talking about someone? Because we will. This woman is in her 50s, littered in makeup, drawn on eyebrows, people's hair stapled in the top of her head. When you guys are online tearing men down, looking the way that some of you look, we say, but look at her lips. She has a permanent smile just like the Joker from the first Batman. We say to ourselves, where does she get the audacity? We say, is she crazy? And then we say, back to the streets with her. Turbulence, people.
I'm going to share a story with you why I don't date women with children. And believe me, I wish I was creative enough to make up these stories, but I'm not. Unfortunately, this really happened to me. So I'm going on my third date. I get invited over to her house and she wants to watch a movie and have some takeout. So I show up with takeout. She answers the door and she's bawling her eyes out, which was obviously very unexpected. And she begins to explain to me that her dog is super sick and her ex has her dog and she doesn't know what to do and he's going to and all this. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's like, I have to go. Can you watch my kids? Now, in a normal situation, I probably would have just left, but I didn't know what to do. So I said, okay. I sat there for an hour and a half, played Legos with a 5 and 3-year-old until her friend showed up and then I left. Welcome to my life, dating in 2025.
Wow, I did not expect that. You know, I thought it was going to be like the typical story where a woman goes out to dinner with a man and she demands that he like also pay for some to-go meals for her kids. Look, guys, I'm going to tell you, as a prior single mom, it is not the end of the world, huge red flag, purely out of her being a single mom. But I will on the hill that it is a red flag for a single mom to introduce her kids to you super early on, because that means that you are not the first one that she has introduced them to that early on, and you are not the last. She is essentially desensitized, especially for a woman to go as far as to just leave her kids with you. I mean, for single moms, for moms in general, her children are the most important things in her life, and she will be protective of that, even if her dog ends up before she gets there. So yeah, safe to say this guy dodged a bullet.
I told him I just wanted to be friends, and now he's acting different. No, he's not. He's acting like your friend. That's what you wanted. He's treating you like the homie, because that's what you said you wanted him to be. He's not punishing you. He's not lashing out. He's not throwing a tantrum. He's not acting weird. He's acting like your friend. Now there's boundaries. See, the problem is you want to just be his friend, but you want him to still treat you like a girlfriend. That's what it is. See, now you're not getting your doors opened. Now your calls are getting declined. Now he's not answering whenever you call. Now you got to wait till he's done doing whatever he's doing. You're hearing no a lot more often now, aren't you? He's not being weird. He's being your friend. Now he tells you about the women that he's seeing. Now he needs your opinion on women who look just as good as you. That's what it is. Yeah, you don't like that, do you? Well, hey, ain't nothing you can do about it besides not be friends with him. Hey, what you want from us? Like,
hey y'all, so today's topic is going to be on providers. Men are naturally supposed to be providers. That should be a natural instinct to all men, especially if you have children and a household to take care of and maintain. As a woman, you should not be dating a man if he is not a provider. You definitely just be setting yourself up for disaster. Seriously, do you want to suffer? No woman wants to be with a man who is not a provider. No woman wants to take care of a man. Every woman wants to live in her feminine energy. When you're dating a man that is not a provider, he will dysregulate your nervous system. He will make you ugly. Not just internally, but physically. Like, you're just gonna start just neglecting yourself. He's gonna make it want to seem like he wants the one that wants to have the princess treatment. He wants to ride passenger princess, doing everything backwards. You do not want to date a man like that. You want to date a man and his operating in his divine masculine energy. A protector, a provider, a man of moral, a good father, a good husband. That's the kind of man that you would like to introduce and have in your life. If he is opposite of that, run.
You know, modern women are ultimately going to ruin themselves. They're ultimately going to ruin themselves. And it'll be because what modern women like to do is they like to kind of float. They like to do things subtly. I want to float underneath the radar. So I might say, like this woman was talking about, all women should want to date a provider man. Okay? What does that mean? And she went on and on about being taken care of in a specific and a certain way. You should all want that. She talked about you should want that man to basically make you a passenger princess and essentially put you in your divine feminine. And divine feminine is usually code for, I want more money. I want him to go out there and make more money so I can lay around and do nothing. And this is what men are saying when they ask, what do you bring to the table? If I go out here and make all of this money, what are you going to be doing? You can't be lounging around the house. That's no good to me. A kid can't even lounge around the house. Maybe as a baby, but it seems like even for babies, they have to come out of the womb working. They're working. Some of these parents, the first day, the kid hadn't even got out the womb good yet. And they already working. I mean, I'm talking about babies. I'm talking about babies straight out of the womb. Straight out of the womb. When you bring them home, give them about 2 months. 2 months or so, if that. Already trying to teach them how to read. Can you say mama? Can you say daddy? Already teaching them. Let them be a kid. But they're already working. So if you have an infant trying to teach them, my daughter was walking at 8. My daughter was working at 8 months. Walking at 8 months. My son, he was crawling already at 3 months. My daughter, she potty trained herself at the age of 6 at 6 months. So if people are trying to teach them to do things and they have to get on the ball about certain things, what would make you think you're the only one in the house? I mean, the kids, once they're still kids, but they got places to be. You got to go to school. And when you get older, you're going to get in some of these clubs so you can stay out the street. You have places to be. So if the kids have places to be, if the dog has a place to be, what do you think is going to happen to you?
I'm tired of getting drunk with no. What the?
Now, to the untrained eye or a brother that's deprived, that could easily look like an opportunity. It is, in fact, not an opportunity. It's a trap. It's a charge waiting to happen. This is not the woman you want to cross that bridge with. And here's why. Because all it takes is for her to wake up in the morning and regret what she did because she was drunk. And now you got to raise your right hand before the courts. And no matter what you say in court, it's always going to sound 10 times worse. Always. It doesn't matter. Your Honor, she only had 2 drinks. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't have done what you did. And you got to be careful around women like this. Because if that's the only time they want to sleep with you, don't do it. I promise you, it's not worth it. All it takes is for 1 ounce of regret to cross her brain. Not because you actually did something wrong, but because she doesn't like what she did in a position she put herself in. And you're cooked, buddy. Chopped liver. Nice knowing you. Stick a fork in him. He's done. Now you're going to be known as a guy that takes advantage of women when they're drunk. Although she hit you up, she went and got drunk on her own accord. Doesn't matter. You are still going to be held accountable for her bad decision making. And honestly, I would advise this information for any situation where you're with a woman and she's drinking any alcoholic beverage. You got to tread lightly. Leave that kind of interaction with you and your woman, not you and a jump off. Because all it takes is for something to go bad and it's over. And not to say that your woman can't do the same thing, but it's a less likely chance of your woman turning on you like that and regretting what she did. She's in a relationship with you. There's not going to be much regret. Now, I know it's going to be hard to reason with some of y'all because some of our brothers are deprived. And it's really, really difficult to tell a hungry man not to eat. My advice to you is this. If she's willing to give it to you under the influence, she should be willing to give it to you while she's sober. And if she does not want to give it to you, or she's not willing to give it to you while she's sober, yeah, it's a bad deal, bro. But you know what? I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying, because I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, keep the change.
Start recording these men when they're watching and staring at you. Because now you're playing busy. Where's my attention? You were just staring at me for 5 minutes.
He was born with eyes, but he's not allowed to look at me when he sees me. Y'all are stupid. Fuck. He's looking out of his eyes. He ain't blind. You're half naked. He can look wherever the fuck he wants. I could care less if somebody wants to look at me. I don't care if I'm at the beach, if I'm out shopping, wherever I am. If somebody wants to look at me because they don't like me or because they like me, who cares? They're your eyes. I can't tell you what the to do with your eyes. And everything they record, a guy can't do anything without them pulling out their phone and recording. He can't even use the very eyes he was born with without her picking up her phone and be like, why are you looking at me? How the f did you know he was looking at you anyway? You were looking at him, right? So you get to look at him, but he doesn't get to look at you? Dumb is.
So I'm at a point in my life where begging is just no longer an option. If I have to plead for a reply, ask repeatedly for your time, or have to convince you to show up like I matter, I'm done asking. If I have to beg you to talk to me, to see me, to treat me like a human being, I'm not interested. Because anything that you have to beg for once, you will have to beg for that forever. And that's not love. That's not friendship. That's not family. That's a dynamic where one person is trying to matter and the other person has already decided that they're not. Basic effort should never require negotiation, and respect should never have to be chased, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or even blood. If the bare minimum feels like pulling teeth, that right there That's your answer. How much you have to beg someone is directly tied to how much they respect you. And if respect isn't there, nothing healthy can grow. So no, I will not beg for conversations. I will not beg for closure. I will not beg for presence. If I have to beg for you in my life, I will choose to step out of it instead, because I'm not interested in trying to convince someone to choose me.
Sometimes men disappear because they feel like their effort is not being reciprocated. A lot of women feel like their approach to dating is, you as a man have to prove to me you are worthy of my time, my energy, and me being more vulnerable to you. And because of what you've been through, you think that's the right way to do it. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with a man who's actually serious and he's seeing you're holding back, you got walls up, he has concerns that you're wasting his time. So now he falls off because he's like, all right, she's tripping, she's not really making any effort. But because there's still a desire there, because he still likes her, I think the comment, the like is a temperature check. Let me see how she'll respond. Let me see if I can still reignite something here. But it all stemmed from, are we actually making a mutual effort to get to know each other? Okay. So just make sure before you start throwing all kinds of accusations at the man, ask yourself, was I coming correct in this process or not?
You want to lose a good man fast? Simple. Just follow these 3 steps and I guarantee you he will be gone before you even realize what happened. Step 1. Disrespect him. The fastest way to love is disrespect. Roll your eyes at him. Cut him off when he talks. Talk down to him in front of other people. Laugh at his ideas. Make him feel this small. A good man will not stay where he feels disrespected because respect is the foundation of how he gives and how he leads. The second he loses that, the relationship is done. Step 2, withhold your intimacy. Then make a bargaining chip. Weaponize intimacy. Punish him by shutting him out physically and emotionally. Make him feel like attraction is something he has to beg for. When a man feels unwanted by the woman he chose, it cuts him deeper than you think. So he will check out, and once he does, it is almost impossible to bring him back. And finally, step 3, be constantly negative. Finally, complain about everything. Focus on what he isn't instead of what he is. Criticize instead of appreciate. Nitpick the small things and ignore the effort he does put in. Nothing crushes a man faster than realizing no matter how hard he tries, he will never be enough in your eyes. So yeah, do these 3 things and you will lose a good man fast. Or you can flip it. Respect him, desire him, and appreciate him. That's how you keep a man who actually will show up for you.
Well, if they're that old and they still want younger girls, there's also a problem.
Let's say if he's 40, dating a 20-year-old, would that be weird?
It's pushing it.
Pushing it.
100%. You should have morals as men and as women.
There we go. So
where you do not look at women under a certain age or at that point because it's just morally.
Okay, so you think it's immoral. Who agrees with her? Show of hands.
I don't really know.
It's funny because all of you women have on makeup. The makeup is to cover up wrinkles, to cover up blemishes, to make you look younger. So you're always trying to present yourself in the most youthful way. So with that being said, it can't be immoral if you're actually trying to look young to the guys that you're dating. Like you're 40 years old, but you're putting on makeup trying to look young. Well, if you think that it's weird, why don't you not put on makeup and just actually try to look your age? But the thing is, it can't be weird because you're not trying to look your age. You're all trying to look younger.
That's a great point.
File divorce at such a higher rate than men, and it said unmet emotional needs.
Please go back and finish watching the rest of that video. So I did some research of my own, and I got the same thing that you did initially. But because I've already done this research, I knew what Gemini and ChatGPT were going to give. So I went back and said, in so many words, that a lot of the stuff that men do, it goes unnoticed and untalked about. And ChatGPT said, rightfully so. You're correct in raising and criticizing these points. I know. Home maintenance, safety and security, financial risk-taking or stress-bearing, social pressure for men to be stoic and emotionally supportive in quiet, less acknowledging ways is very real and often undervalued. Why this discrepancy happens? This ain't me. This ain't me. This is ChatGPT saying this. A lot of the current research on marriage and divorce comes from a feminist framework. Feminist framework that aimed to highlight historically unrecognized burdens on women. But in doing so, it sometimes neglects the full picture of what men contribute, especially in nonverbal and non ways. Huh. That's interesting. It's tight, but it's right.
I assumed I would find my husband in my 20s and be married by 30 and having kids and all that, and I'm 32 and I'm just not. But I also have viewed being in my 30s and having dated such an empowering position to be in, because you are so much more established, you're so much more clear on what it is you want, and there's so much less room for the feeling like someone is vetting you. Like, no, it's actually the other way around.
For so much of my life, I would find myself in these relationships, and it was almost like I didn't have a choice. To your point, being in my 30s, being established, having this life experience, also having like a lot of sobriety under my belt and a lot of self-awareness around like who I am and why I am the way that I am and all of that, I'm like armed with this information. It's no longer about like, am I good enough for this person? It's like, is this what I want? How do I feel when I'm with this person? I do have a choice. Yeah, it's not about them.
You know, I really do have to agree. I think there was one clip where the man was talking about, you know, he's not going to be chasing. And I do feel like that's how a lot of men have become, right? A lot of men, and, you know, there's really no shame in going after something that you love. I know there's a lot of men out there that if there was an issue with a brother or sister, somebody in their family that they were close to, mom or dad or somebody like that, son, daughter, no problem. You know, I'm going to the ends of the earth to try to get back what's mine, you know, try to protect what belongs to me. Men don't have a problem chasing. They don't have a problem begging and asking. Man, just come on, just hang out with me. Come on now. There's still men out there that'll be in your inbox. Man, just give me a chance. You know, where do you want to go? What do you like? You like this steakhouse? You like this restaurant? What do you want? So men will beg if they're rewarded for it. Men are going to say, hey, and all they're really doing when they're begging is saying, I want to spend some time with you. Are you interested in it? A lot of times modern women don't give men the time of day. Oh, I'm not responding to that, this and that. I don't like men that do that. But then turn around and say, I want you to yearn for me. Where are the men who yearn? Men didn't used to yearn. Men used to yearn. Well, you had one in your inbox, so you didn't want it. Because you said he wasn't man enough, because he was begging. But he was doing the thing that you said that you wanted. He was saying, hey, I would like, yeah, but he was too pushy. What do you think begging is? It's pushing. It's coming on strong. It's trying to influence you. Hey, pick me. I'm the right choice. Listen to me. Look at me. Please just give me another chance. Give me a chance. In general, I've never been given a chance. Just give me a chance. Can't even respond. Modern women will leave men in the DMs for literal years and then try to come back after they've been pumped and dumped and go with that man that's been asking you on a date for God knows how many years. Men don't have a problem begging. It's just like you guys have gotten to the point that you disrespect the man so much, the man stopped begging. He'd be like, oh, she don't want nothing. Let me go my way. And now you have people that don't even pay attention to you.